in Florida too. So just welcome everybody. Thanks for being here today. I don't know if Mike might.
Clark, go ahead and unmute.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry, it muted you there when I hit mute off.
Well, welcome everybody. Thanks for being here. It's a beautiful day, 70 degrees here in Roanoke. It's 70 degrees where Steve McGraw is too. So we're both sharing that. Just want to welcome everybody in. Started the meeting with our picture of a crab so we can all laugh about that. And Mike, did you want to show the agenda? All right, our invocation today will be led by Wendy Mellington, and our song leader is Judy Clark, and our pledge allegiance today is Stephanie Moon Reynolds. Thank you. Thank you, Mike. Wendy, would you like to do our invocation?
Sure. Thanks, Clark. A meaningful life begins with gratitude, the great thanksgiving for the whole of your life and all creation. It is giving thanks for everyone who has made and continues to make a difference in your life. Gratitude joins us with God and all creation and enables us to say yes to life and share our gifts with others. So as we prepare for Thanksgiving, please pray with me. God of beauty and wonder, I thank you for the gifts of life. I thank you for life-changing encounters, moments of grace, times when I forgave and was forgiven, for the gifts of others and their impact on my life, for all that has been. Thank you. From Thanksgiving, let my life be a blessing to others, a great yes to the world, one moment and encounter at a time. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Wendy. Our song leader today is Judy Clark. I think she has something special for us.
Clark, I'm going to stop the recording just for a second and then try that again. So,
all right.
Sorry about that.
Sorry about that, Judy. Well, Stephanie, man, would you lead us to our Pledge of Allegiance, please?
Yes, thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephanie. And looks like we have a few guests today. Mike, were you going to introduce guests?
Yes, so we have our speaker today. Ashley Browning is here, guest of Sheon Baker, and we'll be hearing from her later. And want to recognize, let's see, Frank Rogan is here on the call today. And Frank, I don't think has been at too many meetings lately. So Frank, welcome back. Other than that, I think everyone else is a regular Kiwanian. So I think that's it. Clark.
Wonderful, thank you, and welcome to our guest. Grant presentations today. We have one presentation. I'm going to turn it over to Bob Haberman.
Yes, and thank you, President Clark. We haven't done a presentation by Zoom for a while. Is Bill Best Pitch on the call?
Bill is on the call. I don't see Marie.
Okay, Bill, would you tell us a little bit about Family Promise and why you found Family Promise to be so interesting that you would sponsor it?
Well, thank you, Bob. I'm happy to provide what information I can. I started volunteering through my church with Family Promise more than 20 years ago. That's actually when it was called the Interfaith Hospitality Network, and then changed the name to Family Promise as I hope everyone knows, this is a program that allows parents with children who do not have a home to stay together. There is other opportunities for mothers to stay with their children, but if there are a mother and a father, they are not permitted to stay together in any other shelter programs in the Roanoke Valley. So that's why I think this one is so important. I've seen many families come through over the years and learned of their progress in finding permanent housing and finding employment and getting other assistance that they need to keep their lives on track. So thank you very much, Bob, for giving me a chance to share that with the club.
And thank you, Bill. Is Miss Muddyman on the call?
I don't believe she is.
Okay. Bill, if you would get a hold of her and tell her that we are proud to provide her a grant of $2,500, that we will send the grant to her in the mail. It should be there fairly soon, even though the mail is not that reliable anymore. And thank you for your talk and for her submission.
Sure,
we'll do. President Clark.
Will do, Bob.
Thank you, guys, and thank you all for, and thank you, Bill, for making that announcement for Marie Muddleman. Just have some announcements to make. As you guys know, we're doing the Adult Care Thanksgiving meal this Friday. It's going to be at 11:30, and I hope we have a good showing of Kiwanians that have signed up or are going to come out and support this event. This is a lot of fun. I've done it almost every year that I've been in Kiwanis and always enjoyed it. And I didn't know if we had any musicians that were coming, because I know sometimes Dan Chitwood would show up and play for everybody while we were serving. Just want to put that out there. So if anybody would like to come and make some music and serve with us, please come along. Larry, do you want to talk about the holiday show?
Thanks, President Clark. Yes, we're up to 37 of us and our loved ones coming to our holiday show, which will be 2 weeks from tomorrow, Thursday, December 2nd, at Mill Mountain Theater, with a prior reception being held at the Harrison Museum, thanks to Charles Price, the executive director. Just talked to him this morning to get ready for that. The reception will be catered by our member, Amy Carter. She'll supply the appetizers and all the drinks, and we're going to have a wonderful night. Now, this is not just for our members and our significant others. It's also for other family members and friends. And it's also a good way to invite some potential members that you may think could be swayed by seeing how we really have a great time at our social events. And this is a nice holiday party to enjoy ourselves and have a great time. And again, it's at the reception starts at 6 p.m. at the Harrison Museum, second floor, center in the square. You get the show and the food and the drinks for $45. If anybody would like to go, since we're Zooming this week, please send an email to me at larry@millmountain.com, and I'll add you to the list. So the list is growing. We're having a great time, so don't miss out on this wonderful social event. Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Larry. And I have Jill Sluss wants to make an announcement. Thank you, Jill.
Yes, thank you, President Clark. So everyone has been so gracious over the last, I don't know how, I think it's like tons of years at this point, for the Grand Angel Project that we do. And this is for, of course, our guardianship clients. They range in age from 18 and up. Of course, many are older and most are older, but these are folks who do not receive any holiday gifts, would it be not for Kiwanis. So what we're doing this year, as we did last year, is not asking for the actual items. I know a lot of times in the past, the Kiwanians have done the shopping, but to make it all simple, just asking for $20, and that will cover 20 of the 80 clients that we serve, that we have targeted that really need the holiday gifts, or otherwise don't have anything. So I'm going to put the link in the chat in a few minutes. You can just go right to the link and just make your secure donation there. And just once again, thank you to everyone for their generosity for this project. We so appreciate it, and it makes people smile and just so happy in this holiday season. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jill. Sherry Dillon has an announcement.
Thank you, President Clark. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can hear you.
I'm here today representing the Kiwanis Foundation and our annual year-end push for donations to the foundation. JC and I have worked together to try to come up with something unique to get everyone incented to give to the foundation this year. Letters will be going out on Monday, so everybody will receive a letter in the mail. But what we've come up with this year is it's our 102-year birthday. So anybody that gives $102 to the foundation by the end of the year will be entered into a drawing, and we have some gift certificates to 3 local restaurants. So we have some $50 gift cards to Crescent City Barbecue, Bourbon and Barbecue. Probably the bourbon gets everybody excited. To Billy's Restaurant, and then to Mac and Bob's in Salem. So we have those 3 gift cards to give to anyone that contributes $102 before the end of the year. Now we can't go away with just that boring speech. So Mike Obrachta was so kind to do a wonderful video for us to get you all fired up to give your $102. So take it away, Mike.
The year is 1920, and Roanoke is abuzz with progress. It was the golden age of rail travel. Our streets, they were filled with automobiles. Planes were just taking off. Banks were thriving, and the Kiwanis Club of Roanoke was chartered. Let's celebrate our 102nd birthday.
Blow it out.
Well, not by blowing out candles, but by making a contribution to the Kiwanis Foundation of Roanoke. Every donor of $102 or more will be entered in a dinner certificate prize drawing.
All right, be on the lookout for your letter. You should be getting that sometime next week. Thank you all.
All right, thank you, Sherry. That was a great video, Mike. Really appreciate it. All right, the next 3 announcements go to Lois James.
Okay, hi everybody. I'm outside. It is beautiful today. Beautiful. So first thing, we have a membership meeting on Friday at 8:15. So just a reminder, I did send out an email to those of you on the committee. So hopefully you'll see that. You've heard Clark talking about our crabs. And I have to say, I haven't added it up, but in our first weekend, okay, so we're talking 3 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we made just under $500. So it is a great campaign. It's a lot of fun. We are having so much fun with it. We want everybody to get on board with it. We're almost at the point where we're going to have to buy more crabs because we've got a lot of demand. So, and of course, again, and Clark can jump in too, it's to raise money for our administrative budget so that we can redesign our website, and it's all geared to increasing our membership. So that's what the whole process is to increase our membership and show people that we have a good time, right? All right, and then my third announcement is really hard to put on a Santa hat in 70 degrees weather, but I want to do it because I am asking for donations for our West End Christmas party. And like I mentioned last week, we have almost double the amount of kids this year that we did last year. We have 53 children. We've got 30 girls and 23 boys, and we want to be able to give all of them a great Christmas party that is scheduled for Wednesday, December 15th at Charter Hall. So right now we are trying to do it in person. We will be shopping on December 11th on that Saturday, and I'll give you more information as that day comes, but then we will be wrapping on Tuesday night out at Clark's Place in Salem at Serve Pro. So we have a lot of participation with both the shopping and the wrapping. And of course, the party on Wednesday is always one of my favorite events of the year, but we couldn't do it without our generous donations of all of you. So if you can, please donate what you can, and we appreciate it tremendously. So thank you. Back to you, Clark.
Thank you. Yeah, I currently added up our totals for this 1 week that we've been here. We're over $520. And we've got a waiting list on our crabs, so which is a good problem to have. So everything's wonderful. I think we have some time for some brag bucks. If anybody'd like to talk about their sports teams or anything going on in their family.
Hey, Clark, this
Yes.
is not a brag, but I just did want to advertise to everybody that for all the items that were announced today, the Angel Tree, the Foundation, and the West End Party, if you'd like to make a donation to any of those, you can also put that in the chat, and we'll make sure that that money gets to the right group. So if anybody wants to do something today.
Thank you, Mike. Any
Clark-
takers? Brag
Clark,
buck?
it's Sherry Hartman.
Yeah.
If I could slip in an announcement on behalf of the Readers Today, Leaders Tomorrow project.
Sure.
So Rabbi Kathy Cohen has made great progress in setting up an opportunity to have a reading buddy at Lincoln Terrace. And I just want to let everybody be reassured that this project is moving along fine. It just has its red tape that we have to cut through. And Rabbi Kathy is dedicated to that. For those of you who have signed up, we will be giving you an update about when you can get started with your reading buddy. And congrats to Mike and Clark for running a meeting without John Montgomery. I just don't know how you could do it.
It's challenging for sure.
We're definitely
Mike's
missing
been
him. I'll
good
say
help.
that.
Well, that's awesome. Well, we'll get just a few minutes early to get started then. Our program today is Ashley Browning with Hollins University, talking about the HOPE program. She's going to be introduced by Cheyenne Baker. So Cheyenne, we'd love to have you get started for us.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Clark. I am Cheyenne Baker. I have been a Kiwanian since May of this year. So thank you all for being so welcoming and having me here. And I just look forward to doing more community service events with each of you. At Hollins University, I am the executive assistant to the president and secretary to the board of trustees. And today it is my honor and pleasure to introduce to you all my dear colleague, Dr. Ashley Browning. Ashley has been a member of the Hollins family since 2009. Ashley is a true Roanoke native. She enjoys hiking, kayaking, and boating. I too am from Roanoke, but I don't do those things, and Ashley is great at that. Ashley received her Bachelor of Arts degree from the University of Virginia in 2007. She received her Master's in Liberal Studies from Hollins University in 2013, and she received her her PhD in education from Vanderbilt University in 2016. She is the lovely wife of Matt Browning, who is the Director of Analytics and Energy Advisory Services at Gridpoint, and she is the proud mom of Lucy, who contributes regularly to our conversations on women's education and liberal arts at the spicy age of 3 years old. We love Lucy. We love seeing her in meetings. Ashley will joining us today to discuss a new initiative here at Hollins called our HOPE Scholarship Program. The HOPE program, which stands for Hollins Opportunity for Promise Through Education, was spearheaded by Ashley. And the program specifically supports young women who wish to pursue a college degree at Hollins with zero tuition debt. And let me repeat that. It is an initiative that specifically supports young women who wish to pursue a college degree at Hollins with zero tuition debt. Ashley creates magic. She oversees our enrollment and financial departments here at Hollins, and everyone loves Ashley. I haven't met anyone who does not. So it is my pleasure, my honor. I'm so excited you're here, Ashley, to introduce my Kiwanis family to a member of my Hollins family, Dr. Ashley Browning. Hi, Ashley.
Thanks so much, Shion. Gosh, what a welcome. That's a lot to follow up on. Thank you so much for making the time to let me be with you today. I'll apologize in advance. They've just picked up the leaf blower outside my window. So if you hear that in the background, that's an occupational hazard. I'd love to be able to share my screen. Is it possible for me to be able to do that?
Yes, it's enabled. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you so much. All right, I have about 10 minutes of remarks, and then we'll look forward to answering questions from you all. So as Shion introduced in such a lovely way, I'm here to talk about Hollins' new scholarship program, the Hollins Opportunity for Promise Through Education. Since launching HOPE in October, I found myself in a variety of different venues talking about the scholarship, and I kind of consistently come back to this familiar refrain about my own experience as a high school student. So as Shion shared, I grew up in the Roanoke Valley. I went to Salem High School, and even though I lived less than 10 miles from the Hollins campus, Hollins University was really largely unknown to me. Like a lot of other first generation college students that I've now worked with over my time here, my college search was informed by a really limited scope of understanding of the college going process. My story is certainly not unique. One of the absolute joys of my job is that I have a role in being able to open hearts and minds of young women to an experience that seems unknown or out of reach to them. Launching HOPE has really allowed us to elevate that work to new levels because, as Shion mentioned, it eliminates the financial barrier that really looms heavily over the college going process for students. For those of you that might be less familiar with Hollins, we're preparing to celebrate our 180th anniversary, and we continue to pursue our mission as a liberal arts university dedicated to academic excellence and humane values. Many times I will speak with folks from the area who are surprised to learn that we at Hollins have maintained our status as a women's college and that we do enroll men and women in our co-educational graduate programs. The beauty of the Roanoke region really shines on campus. One of my favorite quotes about Hollins is one in which the campus is referred to as achingly picturesque, which if you've ever been to campus is certainly true. Hollins offers 29 different academic majors, our most popular being English and creative writing and biology. And in addition to that strong academic core, we remain very focused on exposing students to the world of work. So 2 out of 3 Hollins students complete an internship before graduation, half complete more than one. And our community, especially for a small place, is impressively diverse. So while half of our students hail from Virginia, our community also includes students from 38 states and 23 countries. 33% of our undergrads identify as students of color or Hispanic Latinx. So it really is a lovely, just a lovely array of different life experiences that arrive with us here at Hollins. So with that context, I want to talk to you as community members about the HOPE Scholarship. What do you need to know? Why is it important to you? And why did Hollins feel that this was the moment to introduce something like this? If you don't work in the education space, I sometimes find that statistics around educational attainment in our region can be a little shocking and really challenge some of the ideals that we would like to hold about our ability to demonstrate that Roanoke is a thriving community for all citizens. So I took a moment to collect a composition of statistics, which I hope are illuminative in that way. And because Hollins is a women's university, my focus in research was specifically targeted towards women in the database here. So while 39% of women in Virginia have earned a bachelor's degree or higher, as you see in the chart here, the educational attainment levels of our local population fall short of that number. This data is pulled from the US Census Bureau's American Community Survey. So it's a broad sampling survey. While bachelor's degree attainment is lower for women in our region as compared to the state average, when you begin to introduce additional characteristics beyond gender, some very prominent trends emerge. Specifically, when we look not only at gender, but also at race and ethnicity, we see that the statewide average of bachelor's degree attainment for women of color drops below the overall average. So this table, again, from the same data source, provides comparative data for Black or African American women and Hispanic or Latino women across our local regions. In this chart, or in this table, we want to compare each of our localities to the state average, which is listed in that first row of data. Roanoke and Botetourt, as you can see here, performed best on this metric as compared to the state, with Black or African American women in both of those counties outpacing the state average, and then Hispanic or Latino women falling just below that average. But the comparative rates for women living in Salem and Roanoke City are significantly below the state average. So when I viewed this data, these stats kind of made me pause, right? Like this is something that can really take you back. And when I think about my role here in the community, I feel very much that we owe it to ourselves to see this disparity with open eyes and to engage in thoughtful dialogue and action about creating more equitable pipelines to higher education across racial and ethnic groups for women. As an institution that's designed to support the advancement of women who also identifies valuing diversity and inclusion as a core community value, we in this equation means Hollins too, right? We have an important role to play in helping our community make strides towards improving these degree attainment rates. So one way that we're pursuing that calling at Hollins is through HOPE, the Hollins Opportunity for Promise Through Education, which beginning in the fall of 2022 will allow eligible young women to attend Hollins 4 years full-time with no tuition debt. The 4-year value of that opportunity for a student is $160,000. We know from our work that student loan debt is a chief deterrent for access to college. And this scholarship alleviates that barrier while also providing students the full rights and privileges of being a Hollins student. So small classes, rigorous academics, and big opportunities like undergraduate research, study abroad, internships, career counseling, and the terrific faculty mentorship that they receive here. So it's an incredible opportunity. While we're focusing our efforts for HOPE in the area that matters to you, Kiwanis members, probably most, our local community, the kind of national trends indicate that young people are increasingly likely to stay closer to home for college. So that also kind of matches up with our focus here. Young women who live within a 40-mile radius of campus are eligible to apply. And this map gives you a sense of that region, which is actually quite broad. It's a little difficult to see here, but through this scholarship program, we'll be able to serve students as close as those who attend Northside High School, which is just right down the street, but even as far as places like Blacksburg, Floyd, and Natural Bridge. With this being our inaugural year to offer these scholarships, we know that we have a lot to learn along the way. Our intention is to help young women with the greatest financial need have access to Hollins. So with that, we do plan to give preference in awarding funds to young women who are coming from households with an adjusted gross income of $50,000 or less. That being said, we know that college is a huge investment for most families, including those that aren't kind of defined by federal standards as being low in income. So because of this, we are encouraging any young woman in the qualifying radius to apply. Funding for the scholarships is coming from Hollins's very generous financial aid budget. It's also supported by federal need-based aid that the family might qualify for, and then also something called the Virginia Tuition Assistance Grant. If you're not familiar with that grant, it's a fantastic program that's funded by the Commonwealth that provides Virginia residents, regardless of academic ability or income, who choose to attend a Virginia private college, a grant in the amount of $4,000 a year. So grant, right, means the family doesn't have to pay it back. I can say in my experience that grant is really instrumental in helping to fill the financial gap for families between what they might pay to go to a public college here in Virginia and what they pay to come to a place like Hollins. Hope Scholars are going to have the choice to either commute or to live on campus with us. It is important to note that the students who live on campus will be responsible for the cost of room and board. When we look at our enrollment data over the past 3 years, what we see is that for every 2 local students who enroll at Hollins and decide to commute to campus, 1 prefers to be in residence. So we do hope to maintain that ratio as we build out the program, and also to be very clear with students about the options that they have available to them as Hope Scholars. If you haven't already, then very soon you're going to begin to see marketing for the initiative in our community. I really hope that you all will join me as partners in thinking of young women in your life for whom this opportunity could really be life-changing. One of my favorite accolades that Hollins has received, admission, we're all about the rankings, is having been ranked number 16 among the country's top performers on social mobility by the US News Best Colleges. That's number 16. The ranking is derived from colleges that not only enrolled, but also graduate large proportions of economically disadvantaged students. So not just getting these students to college, but getting them through. It makes me really proud of the work that Hollins has already done to advocate for equity and access and college success. And I really see our future Hope Scholars as a fantastic next step. The deadline for students to apply for the current year is January 1st. I'm delighted to share that we've already received 46 applications for the scholarship from students in our qualifying area. A question I've received a lot so far is how many scholars we intend to welcome in our first year. Not knowing how the Roanoke community would respond, we'd set kind of a modest goal of enrolling 7 additional students through the HOPE program. But I can say that the initial response since our October launch has been overwhelming, and I feel very confident that we'll be in a position to exceed that number and support more students. I hope as folks of influence in our community, you can stand alongside me and really see this as an amazing opportunity to give young folks in our area. The web link here would take a young woman to a page that gives her all the details she needs to apply, just hope.hollins.edu. And I also wanted to provide my contact information. I would be glad to speak with you or to speak with a young person directly about the opportunity and answer any questions that you have. So I'll leave that on the screen for a moment, and then I'm glad to answer any questions, whether it be about Hollins or the scholarship specifically.
If you have a question for Ashley, go ahead and just unmute.
Yeah, Ashley, it's Jim Aaron. You said you had openings for 7 students and you have 40 some odd applicants. What's the criteria for whittling that down to the 7?
Yeah, that's a great question. So one of the things that's interesting about the Hope Scholarship is that it's different from some other awards that we offer here at Hollins that are based on academic merit. This is truly focused on financial need, right? Because only students who have already been admitted to the university and met our academic credentials for admission are eligible to be considered, right? So my hope is that we will be able to award funds to as many qualified students as we can. Part of our ability to do that depends on the level of financial need that is represented within those, so far 46 students who've applied, right? So if we end up with a lot of applications from students with very, very high need, that might mean that we would be able to offer less, but to do so in a way that would be more financially significant for those families. And then if we have more of a blend, right, people that are perhaps more middle income and some low income, then I think that lets us stretch the dollars a little further. So 7 was the number that I had promised, but my sincere hope is that we will move far beyond 7 for the fall.
Okay, second question, if you don't mind. You said the students living on campus will have to pay their own room and board. What's the rough number that they would have to pay for that?
Yep, that's a great question. So room and board here at Hollins is right at $15,000 a year.
Thanks.
Those are great questions. What else? I'm happy to answer.
I mean, he knows we have an event coming up, right?
Oh, I think I can hear someone asking a question, but I can't quite hear the question. Anybody else pick it up? Okay.
Well, Ashley, thank you so much. I just wanted to pause there just to give somebody else a chance. So sorry for that awkward silence there.
No, it's fine.
Listen, we really appreciate you coming and speaking to our club today. Thank you so much. It was such a great presentation. We do have an honorarium for you, and I believe you have chosen Presbyterian Community Center as the recipient. We will get that sent out to you here as soon as we can for that. So thank you so much for being a part. And Shion, thank you for setting this up. We really, really appreciate it. So next week, you guys enjoy Thanksgiving, and we're not going to have any meetings or anything. So I hope everybody enjoys their family time and hurts themselves eating some delicious food. I know I plan on laying on the floor. And so with that, thanks everybody. I know we're closing up pretty early today, but it looks like we got our meeting through. Is there any other announcements that we want to make? Or Mike, do you want to try to play that song that we couldn't get before?
Yeah, something happened with YouTube and advanced away from the link, and I couldn't get back to it. So my apologies to you there.
Sure thing. Well, guys, I guess we'll call it a day. So thank you all so much. And if anybody wants to grab anybody, please reach out to Emily, Lois, or myself, and we'll glad to get that set up. Okay. So thank you all so much. We are adjourned.